A very good morning to all my dear friends. I am Prashant Mavani. I hope you all are doing good. Today is 1st August 2020. Day is a Saturday. I would like to start today's discussion with this three words. Keep it up. Keep going. Consistency is the key. And try to improve yourself, every single day with every new opportunity. Try to give your best. And when I say try to improve yourself, what I'm saying is I'm not saying to have a quantum leap. What I'm saying is just a 1% improvement is more than enough, right? But if you keep this 1% habit, a sort of new consistency, then you will see that you will reach there. So think about it. With this, dear friends, the StudyIQ team has designed a smart course. This smart course is for Civil Services Examination. It covers your pre as well as mains examination. And to find out more about it, all you have to do is download our mobile application. Dear friends, please make sure that you share this lecture with other students. Hit the like button if you have learned something from today's discussion. And please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. So, dear friends, on our table, we have four important articles. Today is Saturday, right? And there are some news items as well that I would like to discuss with you guys very briefly. But first of all, let's start our discussion with towards a new normal. Now, as we all know, I'm sure we all are aware about this fact that central government of India has announced further relaxations. So it all started on 25th March, isn't it? Lockdown was implemented on 25th March and it continued till 1st June. From 1st June to 1st July or 30th June, we saw this period of, or what we call Unlock 1.0. Then from 1st July to 31st July, we have, we were in Unlock 2.0, and now we are entering into a full-fledged Unlock 3.0. Now, full-fledged Unlock 3.0 will start from 5th August. I'm sure you are aware about this fact that cafe, restaurants, and then we have this gymnasiums. Schools will be kept closed. Educational institutions will be kept closed, but gyms and yoga centers and then your eateries like restaurants and other stuff, they can continue till 10 p.m. Regular business will run till 8 p.m. as far as I know, right? Because various different states, they have various different cities. They have their own different rules and regulations. The reason is that central government has given this freedom for states to decide, and state governments, they have given this freedom or this choice to local administration, like your district collector. He or she will decide whether your city is safe enough for proper or complete lockdown or unlocking, right? Whether it is capable or whether your city is should be kept under lockdown or it should be unlocked. So this freedom is there, and it is important because we are a diverse country, right? And the thing is that the spread of this disease within the country is also very uneven, and responses by cities and states are also uneven. So customization helps a lot. Now, there are some matter of concerns, or are these things matter of concern? The first is that we have 17 lakh cases in our country. And as far as quantity is concerned, we are at number 3, or we are at a third rank. Out of this 17 lakh total cases, the reality is that 5 lakh, if you divide it by 3, right? Because 1/3 are active, rest of them are okay now. So we are talking about 5,66,666 or something like that. This many cases are active. 5,50,000 or 60,000 people are actively infected with COVID-19 or coronavirus, and the rest of them, they are okay now. So things are not that bad. New numbers are, of course, new cases are unrelenting. We find new cases, so many cases, right? 40,000, 50,000 cases every day. But the thing is, India has started testing 6 lakh, 5 lakh plus people per day. And if I'm not wrong, we are going to start this thing. We are going to cover 10 lakh cases, means 10 lakh people. We are going to test 10 lakh people in one single day. So naturally, numbers are going to be higher in terms of new cases. So I don't think so that's a problem, right? If new cases are coming, then that is not a problem. That is also an indication that we are doing more tests. So doing more tests is a good thing. And as far as deaths are concerned, then so far 36,000 plus people have died in our country because of COVID-19. Most of them were having some sort of comorbidities. They were not fit, or they were not that well. And overall, if you see, India's case fatality rate is 2.16%, which is impressive, which is not that bad. As far as health professionals are concerned, right, they are overworked, they are burned, they are tired, right, they need some rest as well. Then we need to give them a normal life now, because there are so many people, right, they are working consistently, and this is a very challenging thing, because in starting days it was all big panic, and remember this fight and flight mode was, we can literally see this doctors and medical personnel, and hats off to them. They were, that was a time, that was a very horrible time, right? The media and everything was filled up with this sort of news about coronavirus and how dangerous it is. And I still remember the visuals of Italy and other cases where they used to show us these mass graves of people. So public showing, at present we can find that they are tired now, and so they need some rest as well, some day offs, and we need to add more people on board so that we can distribute this work or this emergency situation. Public is also showing impatience in many places. So more lockdown is, I don't think so people will be able to take it that easily in those cities and in those states where they have implemented lockdowns. So people are not happy with lockdown. And one thing that we know is that lockdown is not something that will work. What will work is, we need to be we need to be cautious, we need to be well prepared, vigil, of course. We need to sharpen our adaptation techniques. Like, say for example, if someone is not feeling well, then why that person has to go to nearest test center? Why someone cannot someone should go to this, reach out to this person, that rather than, we should make sure that infected person can get tested at his or her home. And testing should be accessible as well as affordable. If you think that you need testing, then it should be affordable and it should be accessible as well. So we need to create more testing centers, so we don't find a big long queue at testing centers. Most cases in our country are asymptomatic, so testing is very important. And there are some doubts and questions regarding rapid antigen tests. So government should clarify this thing. If this is not working, then let people know and get rid of it. And if this is working, then people should be educated about it. Then this hiding data is self-defeating, as we all know what China and other countries are doing. This is not going to help you. It's not going to kill COVID-19. In fact, it's going to create more trouble for you. And one more interesting thing that I find in this editorial is that just like our, weather reports, nowadays we have this icons, isn't it, on our mobile phones, on our smartphones, where you can fit that icon of weather report. So it will give you latest updates every 15 minutes, or you can set time as well. So in the same way, we can have this real-time epidemiological data on our screen. And this will help both government as well as people. As far as government is concerned, government can do micro planning. As far as people are concerned, right, you can educate people. You can tell them, you can nudge their behavior in the direction that you would like to see. So this helps both, right? So we need to think about it. Not think, but I think we should bring it out as quickly as possible. Then comes next one, war and talks. This one is about Afghanistan. The flag of Afghanistan is there on your screen, and here is the map of Afghanistan. So as you will observe, my dear friends, that this red portion here, right, follow this pointer. So roughly 50% of Afghanistan is controlled by Taliban, and rest 50% is under the control of government of Afghanistan. Now, I want you guys to pay attention to the first line or first paragraph that you can see on your screen. I'm going to read it out loud for you guys. The Taliban's decision to cease fire for 3 days during Eid-ul-Adha has come as a relief for Afghans who have seen unabated violence despite a peace agreement between the insurgent and the US. Who is the decision maker here? Taliban. Taliban will decide whether you will celebrate Eid in peace or in fear. And when Taliban is saying that, okay, we are ready for a ceasefire, we are not going to fire, we can have a sort of, put down our guns for 3 days, then this is creating a sense of relief for people of Afghanistan. So this is a clear indication that at present, when it comes to upper hand, when it comes to negotiation between intra-Afghan negotiation between Taliban and the government of Afghanistan, Taliban is in a better position, which is a very dangerous thing because it is a sort of, as we all know, right, a terrorist organization. They have hijacked our plane as well. It was back in, I think, 1999 or 2000, something like that. Forgot the Kanishka Airlines. It took off from Nepal and it was supposed to head towards Mumbai, but then it was, taken over, hijacked, and then it was landed in Kandahar. At that point of time, Taliban used to rule this country, and this Masood Azhar, we were forced to release Masood Azhar and other terrorists. They were here in our Mumbai jail. Okay, third official respite. This is the third official respite since 2001, and let's hope that this truce will be extended because USA and Taliban, the history, right? So I'm not going into too much details of USA and Taliban, but it's very strange that two enemies, now they are having a deal between them, and Afghanistan or the government of Afghanistan is like a third party here. So in this USA and Afghanistan deal, USA and Taliban deal, it was promised that intra-Afghan talks will take place. They were supposed to begin from March 2020, but this whole blame game between Afghanistan government and Taliban, because of this blame game, it was rescheduled, and finally Taliban was demanding a release of its prisoners, and Afghanistan government was not ready to do that thing. So Taliban started throwing bombs and killing people and doing all the things in which they are good at. So finally Afghanistan government decided that they have basically released 5,000 Taliban prisoners, right? And Taliban continues to engage in war and talks simultaneously. So what they are doing, they are using both this carrot and stick strategy. So on one side, Taliban will attack you. On the other side, the leaders will say that, okay, let's have a discussion. So clearly again, right, an upper hand, or they are trying to stay in that position. This Taliban, they are trying, by doing this war and talks, what they're trying to achieve is they are trying to make it clear that they are the boss here. It's very unfortunate that America is leaving Afghanistan in a very bad shape. It's in a very bad shape. You can see here that since US-Taliban February deal, 3,560 government troops and 775 civilians have been killed in conflict. So many people died till now, right? From this February 2020 till this 1st August 2020, 3,560 government troops. So Afghanistan is very vulnerable at present, politically as well, security point of view as well, economically very weak, and the Taliban is getting stronger and stronger. So once America is out from Afghanistan, it will just take matter of days or matter of weeks for this Taliban to take over this whole government and control the whole country. See, last year's presidential election was also not that successful. Very few people came out, and then you have these political issues between, or there were political issues, just like last presidential election. Abdullah said that you have Ashraf Ghani and opposition leader Abdullah. So after election, Abdullah said that he is also victorious, and he said that he is going to form government. On the other side, you find that Ashraf Ghani is taking oath. So this sort of issues. And finally, at this time, Abdullah was doing the same thing, but now finally he is appointed as the head of High Council for National Reconciliation. So this this HCNR is the main body that will hold talks with Taliban. So when you have this type of political scenario, then this is a clear strength of it indicates that this is a clear means Taliban. For Taliban, this is an opportunity that your political leaders are fighting with each other. Economy is not that great. America is also living. So best is to exercise and to penetrate. So that's what Taliban is doing. So these are some bad things that are going on in Afghanistan. Dear friends, our cities are our growth engines of our economy, of course. Now, India's top metropolitan cities like Delhi, Mumbai, Kolkata, Chennai, Bengaluru, Hyderabad, they account for nearly 50% of coronavirus cases in our country. The sad thing is that as far as public health expenditure is concerned, we spend just 1.28% of our GDP. And this is the reason why we use this word expenditure, because if you are spending, let's say 6% or 10%, something like that, then it is not expenditure, it is investment. You are proactively creating infrastructure, creating that medical environment in your country that will protect people from so many other diseases. But here, unfortunately, we are not economically that strong, but that is not always an excuse that we can accept. Gradually we can increase, but it's been, we don't take this sort of things that seriously. Still, okay, never mind. World Bank says that 62.4% is the number when it comes to out-of-pocket health expenditure in our country. If you see global average, then global average in terms of out-of-pocket expenditure is 18.2%. Now, for those students who don't know what out-of-pocket health expenditure is, that means when you are admitted in hospital, let's say out of 100 people, 62.4%, they will give money from their own pocket. They don't have any help at all. Manpower in health sector is also low. India's doctor population ratio is 1:1,457. WHO recommends 1:1,000. Larger governance issues are quite visible in our city areas, and we were not prepared for, and generally we are never prepared for, any sort of man-made or other natural disasters. Safety is something that we don't take, safety is not a part of our culture yet, I would say. And specific systemic factors underlying city governance, including spatial planning, municipal capacities, empowered mayors and councils, inter-agency coordination, ward level citizen participation. These are the things that we are going to discuss in detail as we move on. Now, keep this thing in mind that with 74th constitutional amendment, which recommended this three-tier system, 27 years have passed since this 74th amendment, and we find no proper implementation of this constitutional amendment. The constitution mandates formation of metropolitan planning committee in all metropolitan areas with 1 million plus population. Now, MPCs are envisaged to ensure integrated planning for the entire metropolitan area and are responsible for the preparation of draft development plans, synthesizing priorities set by local authorities and state and central governments. But in reality, MPCs are either not constituted or are defunct. As per Janagrah annual survey of India's city systems, out of 18 cities, only 9 had their MPCs, and that also even just on paper. So there is a clear absence of comprehensive integrated planning. Poor housing, sanitation facilities are not up to the mark, and a lack of access to meaningful social security or social services or this welfare things. Like I'll give you example of Chennai. In Chennai, you have some posh area. You have 24 by 7 piped water accessible in your house, but there are so many localities right over there you don't get this thing. This is a luxury over there. In summertime you find water tankers, and then you find so many people there. They are using their baltis, and they are trying to fetch or collect as much as water as possible. So it's a very bad thing that we find. Poor housing also. This is good. All these weaknesses, right? We were so used to with these things that we were not taking this thing seriously. But after this COVID-19, I strongly believe that we are not going to be the same. We are going to ask questions, and we are going to find more articles like this that will create awareness in us that we are not provided these sort of things in our city areas. And city areas are very important as well, for not just for the people who are living in that cities, but for our country as well. As I told you that cities are our growth engines, economic growth engines. Now, weak municipal capacities. First of all, we have to understand that our cities are expanding, but civil services are not. If you see this Essex 2017 report, then Mumbai has the highest number of officers per lakh population at 938. But if you compare it with Johannesburg, they have 2,922 officers. New York has 5,446 officers. When it comes to mayors and councils, if you are a regular follower of this series, then you'll be aware about this fact. We have talked about this thing few months ago, I remember. But anyway, if you have just joined in, then don't worry, I'll take you through it. The thing is, in city area, mayors or your local governance is controlled by CM of your state, or the main party boss. He or she will cover, or he or she will look after all these things. CMs, right? For CMs, cities are very important because that the cities, they help in overall performance of that state's economy. So election time as well, the cities are the ones based on which they will talk about big economical progress and things. Other thing is that CMs, if CMs, if they don't control this local cities, then they will not get that much political attention. So this whole system is designed in such a way that your mayors are just there as token person. Real power is with your state government. Mumbai's mayor has a tenure of 2.5 years. What you can do in 2.5 years, in just in this short period of time, how can you expect someone to perform? In Delhi and Bengaluru, a mayor 1 year time. This is nothing, right? You come to this office, and you learn the work, and you just start doing something, and then your tenure is over. Transparency, accountability, and citizen participation. I'm not sure. I will ask you this question. Have you ever attended this sort of ward committees or area sabhas? Have you ever heard about it in your area? I don't think so. As far as I know, I have never heard about this sort of things in my city. And as per Essex 2017, India's big metropolitan cities on average score 3.04 out of 10 in transparency, accountability, and participation. So the bad performance. McKinsey report in 2012 said that 54 metropolitan cities and their hinterlands account for 40% of India's GDP. Few cities, if they are giving or contributing 40% of our GDP, then it is our responsibility to protect them and make it up to the mark and make it prepared for all sort of emergencies, and they should be healthy in resources and everything. What is happening in our country is that you have these big cities, and then we find this nearby towns, they are getting bigger and bigger, and in few years time they will be part of this city. So they are expanding, so it is better that we plan them properly. And one thing that we need for sure is, because of our population, because of the size of our city, we need a directly elected leader for our city, something similar to Tokyo, but we can have our own customization. Without this thing, let me tell you that we are never going to see that up to the mark cities that we find in well planned and well crafted cities that we find in Western world. We are not going to Western world. When I say Western world, I mean to say that developed countries, right? You are not going to find those sort of cities here. Only few areas that are very rich, are well maintained and well organized in our country, unfortunately. Moving on to next item, Caesarean pandemic. This is another pandemic, and this is not something that every one of us has to worry about, but definitely it is something that once upon in our lifetime we will go through it, and this is very sad. The thing is, someone from our maybe family, from our friends, right, they will go through this Caesarean, right, the C-section procedure. Now, C-section procedure was a big breakthrough or a big thing, big help for pregnant ladies as well as the baby. But now it is more like a very common thing in a business, right? Means human beings have evolved in just 10, 15, 20 years. It's very difficult to believe or digest that more and more cesareans are becoming more and more common. It is a very common thing, and I'm sure you have heard about this thing, that in so many private hospitals, even if you are able to do or go through a normal delivery, they will ask you for cesarean, and because it's a money making thing. I'm not saying everyone is doing this thing, but this is a reality as well that you cannot ignore. So NSO survey says that share of women delivering through C-section has crossed 28% in our country, and WHO says that the number of maternal and newborn deaths decrease only until cesarean deliveries rise towards 10% across the population, after which there is no evidence that mortality rates improve. And every surgery, surgery has its own risk, and after surgery as well, you can go through so many issues or problems. Like, for example, mothers, they go through depression, and it creates problems for them for their next pregnancy. And for children, many of them, they go through, they are suffering from obesity or asthma or juvenile arthritis. So these are the things, after this C-section or this cesarean, after that, mother and the baby both will suffer in long term. Consider that C-sections are 17% of births in government hospitals. They're free, but 55% in private hospitals. So this is a matter of concern. So that's everything as far as articles are concerned. Let me quickly take you through news items. Government extends ban on international flights till 31st August. Fifth phase of Vande Bharat mission will start today, and it will last for 1 month. The Bureau of Executive Board of World Health Organization was addressed by Dr. Vardhan. Kharif sowing area has increased compared to last year. Last year it was 774 lakh hectares, and this year it is 882 lakh hectares. President Kovind, VP Naidu greet people on Eid al-Zuha and Eid Mubarak to all my dear friends. May God bless us all. President and Vice President both have greeted people on this occasion. Locust control operations have been conducted in 11 districts of Rajasthan, Gujarat and Haryana. 15th Finance Commission's high-level group on agricultural export will submit its report soon, and Prime Minister Modi is going to address smart India Hackathon this evening. And that's everything from my side. God bless you all. Jai Hind.